Greetings everyone, my name is Etterville, and welcome back to my Let's Play of Mega Man Maker. During the last part, I covered 5 viewer submitted levels, so in this part, I'll be covering several more viewer submitted levels, starting out with this one, Sunset Fortress by GTX-MAGMAX-GTX, 16 plays and a score of 0. As always, if you want one of your levels to be featured in a part like this one, please leave the level name and level ID in the comment section below or direct message me on Twitter. Also, as always, the full disclaimer of this entire LP series is linked in the description below. Also in the description are the timestamps for every level I cover in these parts. Mega Buster only, but we have sliding. So this fortress level is going to take place in Sunset. It seems that some of these fire bars are mistimed. At least we have the Ice Slasher now, just to make things a bit easier. I wonder why some of the ice bars, or rather the fire bars, are mistimed. Seems a bit strange if you were to ask me. Hopefully these aren't the weaknesses for the boss, that'll be a little bit problematic. Seems that one of these fire bars is always a bit off. I guess it's due to the global timer or something acting a little bit funky. Oh, I froze the little bits down over there. That's why I couldn't slide over it, even though it's only about 1 or 2 pixels. So far so good. I really enjoyed playing Spring Fortress, also by MAGMAX, in the previous stage, so let's see how this stands up. Now we either need to destroy these big eyes or jump over them. I'll try jumping over them. Just gotta be a bit careful when they close their eyes. That's when they're gonna do their super jump. Same with these enemies. In a way, this feels like the inverse of another challenge where we need to dodge under enemies, which were bouncing on springs, but here we need to jump over them, or destroy them if we want. Also, if you fall into one of those pits, you need to restart the stage because you can't jump out of it. For the power musclers, it's really easy to destroy them, so I'll just destroy them first anyway. It's a lot easier in comparison to the big eyes, that's for sure, because they jump more consistently. Yeah, this feels like the reverse of a certain set of challenges in Spring Fortress. Instead of dodging under, we're jumping over. That's neat. At least if we get knocked into the pits over there, we're not killed instantly or stuck. Now we have all the Tamas, who can bounce off all their yarn balls. If we keep sliding forward, they're no threat though. The super ball cannons though, this is going to be a slight problem. At the very least, they have a consistent firing arc. We could either destroy the green petite devils or just jump over them. I prefer to just jump over them. Otherwise, you have to deal with them splitting. You just gotta be a bit careful not to get knocked into the pits though, or have them be in an unavoidable place. This is another enemy type which you don't want to, which is a little bit more difficult to destroy, mainly because its rocks keep bouncing off when you shoot it and when it gets destroyed. Of course, if you keep your distance, it's fine. And the checkpoint placement for the stage is pretty good as well, so I will give props to the developer. We're seeing repeated usage of the same room type, but because we have the different enemies, it varies up the challenge. Plus, the room types are a bit more varied in comparison to Spring Fortress. Now we have this room type where we need to destroy enemies on plain ground. Though it's more difficult when we had all of those minecart enemies. which by the way aren't part of the editor yet. You have to hack the game, or rather use a text editor in order to access them. It's possible to dodge these enemies, but I'd rather get some more weapon energy. Plus, these are really easy to destroy anyway. Neat, we get item 2, aka the jet module. Let's hope we don't get knocked off of it. I can't shoot after all. Wonderful, I was a bit worried I was going to fall in the spikes. If I did, there's no large weapon energy, so I need to refarm it, I think. Unless the weapon capsule respawns. I think it does because I hit the checkpoint before I collected item 2. So I'll get full weapon energy for that. Keep sliding for dear life. Thank goodness I have the quick slide enabled. Having to do down plus A would be a lot more difficult. Why, thank you for the windstorm, or rather the NATO. You need the NATO after all in order to make this jump, or rather climb all of these stairs. At the very least, there's enough weapon energy in order to make this jump. And there are no invisible ceilings either. Let's see where this takes us to. Oh neat, now we have a similar boss room to Sparkman in Spring Fortress, but it's a lot harder here because we don't have access to the perfect freeze. Plus it's Time Man. If only I had the charge shot, this would be so much easier. It's a similar room setup to Sparkman, but it's more difficult because I don't have the proper special weaponry in order to deal with it. Plus Time Man is more difficult to dodge. And I can't regenerate special weapon energy or life energy easily either. Now if I could start injuring him, that would be really nice. Still couldn't damage him, plus he can fire back at me with his own footholder. At last, 1 point of damage, or rather 2 points of damage. Thank goodness. If he took 1 point of damage per hit, this fight would be a lot more annoying. All these tele-spawning aren't helping matters. Plus, Time Man becoming temporarily invulnerable every so often isn't helping matters either. Just rinse and repeat with your timing, and you should persevere. I just wish I could access the life energies. Well, I could if I timed it better, and let all those tellies come to where I am. Alas, that's the end of Sunset Fortress. A pretty neat stage, although it focused more on enemy-based challenges, and a few of the rooms were kind of barren. Although there was more variation in terms of each of the rooms in comparison to Spring Fortress, but I liked that stage more due to its gimmick. Whereas that stage I'd give like a 6 or 6.5 out of 10, I'd give this stage a 4.5 or 5 out of 10. It's on the edge of me not giving it a thumbs up, but I'll be kind for this one because it was a joy to play through. Second on the lineup is When Toads Fly by Omegada, 13 plays and a score of 2. This is their third level in their short mini-series of Fortress levels, following their mini-series of 7 or 8 levels that I already played through, of Roadmaster-like stages. I already played through their Fortress Stage 1 and 2 in the previous part, so let's see how this level stacks up. Sadly, we can't have hatch rooms in this engine, mainly because once we kill a boss, we complete a stage. Well, we could, but I'd have to repeat it 8 times or something. So now we're officially inside the fortress, filled with all these petite snakies and pole eggs. And the same set of special weaponry from before. Good thing it's consistent. In fact, it makes sense because all these special weaponry we can get are from the Roadmasters we fight. Well, outside of the Silver Tomahawk from Tomahawk Man and the Flash Stopper from Flashman. All the other special weapons we can get from Roadmasters. And as I said, these are all designed to be fortress levels, so not all the gimmicks need to be introduced in a safe environment. It's assumed that we already went through them, and considering this is a continuation of the mini-series of levels that we played before, several of these gimmicks were probably introduced already over there. That was close. Gotta be a little bit careful here so I don't destroy the ground beneath me. That'd be embarrassing. This stage seems to be really focusing on climbing up this tower of snakes, as well as Hammer Joe's. Yikes, that was close. This is also focusing more on the tight platforming. I guess by taking the left route, yep, it's the easy route, and I get access to an M-Tank. It seems that if I'm far enough from the petite snaky, it won't shoot at me. But if I'm pointing in the correct direction, it will fire. Okay, if I stand behind the petite snaky, it will not fire at me. Good to know. You gotta be really fast before the petite snakies start firing at you though. Especially when you start entering a room, or just enter a room. And I guess we're at the boss fight. The first stage of this mini-series felt a lot longer than the second and third ones. Although the second one was more of a maze labyrinth from Fairman, and the third one feels more like a more controlled area. The first one was a lot more open, this is a lot more claustrophobic. Especially due to all the pole eggs that we need to destroy and all the petite snakies and Hammer Joes. Wow, I didn't realize Toadman can jump that far. Well, he has the same AI from Mega Man 4, so this is a cinch. The only reason why I took damage there is because I couldn't reach him. So that was When Toads Fly. I understand the name of this level now. It's called Fly because we're climbing up a tower, and Toadman makes sense because most of the Roadmasters, or rather all of the enemies, are nature or plant oriented. or animal-oriented with the snakes and whatnot. Out of the 3 Fortress levels I played so far, this is definitely my favorite one. Third on the lineup is One Night in Space, Weakness and the Secret Room by Pirata Patheta, 10 plays and a score of 1. It's been quite a while since I last played a level by Pirata Patheta, and unfortunately from what I've heard, several of their popular levels were broken with the 1.2.x update, specifically 1.2.4 because it fixed a whole bunch of glitches, which is rather unfortunate. Let's see, Jump Shoot Slide and Mega Man 5 Charge Shot, the best one. And I believe we'll get access to the boss's weakness in a secret room, but the question is, where is the secret room? It could be anywhere. Oh goody, it's going to be a Metroidvania level or a non-linear stage, because we can't access any of those ladders, and the checkpoint here requires usage of the Wind Tornado. So down we go. I guess this will be the first true Metroidvania level I've played so far. One that's been introduced following the 1.2.x updates. Forcing us to be a little bit skilled with the usage here. There we go. If you fail that challenge, you're forced to restart the stage, but the checkpoint's close by anyway, and you get a full refill. Oh, I missed it. Oh well. Not too much of a loss. Yeah, I need to be really fast over there if I want to get the access to the key and a secret, probably. At least there's a full restore over there, so that's really appreciated. It's not that bad, actually. You just need to be in your guard and... oh, you really need that key. And I guess the crash lift or crash bomber is here. Ah, neat, this is where the pathways loop up with each other. This is definitely a Metroidvania level. I'm planning on covering at least 2 or 3 Metroidvania levels in their own part, but we'll have to see how long it lasts for. Using the mobility upgrade we got, we're going to take this left route. Oh. This may take a few attempts. I'll need to restart the checkpoint because I don't have an M-Tank. At the very least, you get a full refill every time, so that I do approve of. There's no way of getting soft locked throughout this stage. A major plus. That segment's gonna take a few attempts. Especially because of the timing over there, and you know how many problems I have activating the Wind Tornado when traveling downwards. This is fun so far, but let's hope it doesn't require too much precision. There we go, thank goodness. And you need that key if you want to access the rest part of the stage, it's not optional. This next segment will probably give me access to the Crash Bomber. First, a lot of enemies. And a spawning in hot dog, which doesn't spawn in correctly. At least this hot dog isn't completely defenseless. It had a cohort in the form of that spine. And this is where the pathways loop up with each other, good. But I don't want to reset at the checkpoint here because it'll result in my death. Or it'll force me to re-get it because there wasn't a checkpoint nearby. Well, there's no other way to go other than down, I guess. And I already completed this boss fight, so let's try going for that M-Tank again. Still didn't get it. At least I have a checkpoint right over here, so once I activate it, I'll now just blow up this hole. And it takes me all the way over here. And... oh, okay, so free checkpoint. It doesn't reset the room though, so time to activate this checkpoint. And because I already completed this room once, I don't need to worry about hitting that checkpoint once again, or rather collecting the key. Let's see what's in this area. I need to take care of the hedgehogs first. 2 keys. Strange. Well, I do know an area which will require a key. This is the first one of those. Ah, so this is where it leads up to. And now this room once again. It's not too difficult, thankfully. First, let me activate the checkpoint and get to the next part. I just wonder where the secret room is. Hopefully it's not off-screen. I guess this is the final part of the stage where you need to use a combination of the Windstorm and Crash Bomber in order to succeed. As well as the Mag Missile. I probably should be keeping that prop top alive. I get the feeling it's going to be useful. Oh yes it will. Because we need it in order to open up that door. Or of course we could damage boost as well, that'll work. Or use the Windstorm if need be. At least there are no invisible blocks here. And the checkpoint placement is getting on the really fair side, or rather on the overly generous side. Still, with all this said and done, this is my favorite stage out of the part. Is it just me, or did the blocks that you can destroy, they had their color changed a bit? We're pulled backwards because of this. A little bit of a tight squeeze over there. Just need to wait for that spine to come back to the right place, and I'll be able to open this up. Or of course we could damage boost as well, that works out. Gemini laser. I would have liked if this was more like a Metroidvania, but this works out. The first part of the stage was a Metroidvania. Just need to bounce it in the correct fashion. And I forgot I need to turn it off so I don't destroy my own ride. Would like if there was a full weapon refill here. If you run out of energy here, you're doomed. Gotta be quick on your feet a bit here when going up and down so you don't end up running out of time. This is not too bad actually. As long as you're careful, you're fine. You should still put a large weapon energy just before that segment so you don't die. Phew, I was worried it wouldn't activate properly there. Still, I want to refill those up to max because I'm not sure if I'll need them. And this is the charge kick room, so of course I'll have to use charge kick in order to get by these areas. It only took one more attempt off-screen, and one death that happened off-screen was more due to my fault. I wasn't able to get the E-Tank, but it worked out. Unfortunately, I don't have his weakness. I didn't reach the secret room. Let's see where he travels up to. So that was the end of One Night in Space. A pretty neat half Metroidvania / challenge level or special weapons oriented stage. It got a bit of more the precision based challenge level near the end with those charge kick jumps as well as the preceding Magfly riding segment. But overall, I think I enjoyed the stage. I would have liked if it had more Metroidvania elements instead of half the stage being it. But I really liked how each and every special weapon was utilized to their full strengths and whatnot. I didn't find a secret though. I didn't find a secret room, which was rather unfortunate. Also another plus, if you're really skilled with usage of the charge kick and windstorm, you could get access to another free E-Tank and an M-Tank. Great work, Pirata Patheta. I'd give this at least a 7 or 7.5 out of 10. Fourth level on the lineup is Galaxy Fortress by MAGMAX, 10 plays and a score of 0. Let's see how this fortress compares with MAGMAX's previous fortress, that being Sunset Fortress. And let's see if there are any similar design trends. Okay, we have the tiles from Time Man, the background from Flame Man, and Charge Man's team. We also start out with a Gemini Laser and Metal Blade for a change. We actually start out with something. Alright. Okay, I understand. We need to go down over here. And then ascend upwards. Well, at least I didn't get crushed off screen. I guess it makes sense. We started out in a building and now we ascend into space, similar to Crashman's stage. What just happened there? Oh, I see. I guess I need to go to the left instead of to the right. Or I need to wait for some Yoku blocks because I ended up dying over there. Oh. For some reason the footholders didn't spawn correctly. That explains a bunch. And now we need to fight a bunch of enemies that'll be spawning in from nowhere. I guess they're teleporting in. Like the Sniper Joe series and whatnot. Oh. So a bit of a gauntlet here, because you have to be a bit careful when attacking these enemies. I was a bit surprised there by the introduction of that Fan Fiend. It's really hard to dodge these enemies though, especially because of the footholders' lower hitboxes or smaller hitboxes. and jumping off of it just forces me to go to the left more, because I stop moving forward automatically. So I guess we're going to be fighting various enemy families, with some pauses in between. And it's going to be an endurance battle because I don't get any life energies back. Plus I don't have charge shots either. I do have the Gemini laser if need be. I probably should be utilizing it more. Well, I was lucky that Gachapon didn't fire his forwards. Well, I guess that's what this battle is going to be. I wish there was a checkpoint in between so I didn't have to repeat this whole segment all over in case I die, because there was an ever-apparent chance of me just falling off into a pit. Especially with stuff like the Ben Ks. And more enemy types at once. Because if I don't kill off the enemies quick enough, I'll die. Whew, that was close. I thought I was gonna fall into the pit there. It'd be really embarrassing if that happened. Thank you very much for the checkpoint there. I was really lucky that most of the enemies proved to be rather ineffective. I mean, the second half of the enemies were less difficult than the first half, due to how their projectiles interacted. Time for the Item 2 segment, similar to the one in Sunset Fortress, I think. With the spikes and everything else, and having to do that quick dodge. There's probably gonna be a spike right in front of me, isn't there? Nope. Just a lot of refills. I'm still waiting for a gotcha moment. That was good. I was a bit fearful over there. Let's see where this leads up to. Really, the first part of the stage was effectively an enemy gauntlet. An endurance-based enemy gauntlet. Let's see what this is. Now, oil sliding. Oops, that was my fault, of course. I should have waited over there. Also, you may want to put a checkpoint after this segment. Then again, well, put a checkpoint here and put 3 full weapon energy capsules. That would be perfect. Silly me, it was that easy. I don't even need to press any of the buttons. I'm just at the edge of these springs, by the way. One wrong move and I die. Well, we went further into space with that segment, and now we're going down. And now we fight Hardman in this similar barricaded environment. Which is going to make things a little bit more difficult, like I described before in Sunset Fortress. I just wish I could refill my life energy. Let me just destroy all the pole legs first, then I'll try wailing on Hardman. His arms are going to be the main problems. As well as that green footholder he's on, as well as the remaining poles and tellies. At last, that's the end of Galaxy Fortress. Unfortunately, the boss fight kind of dragged on. I would have preferred if there was a weakness, but I guess it works. I liked this boss barricade for the first time during Spring Fortress, found it a neat, harder version in Sunset Fortress, but now it's kind of getting old. And this stage didn't really capture me as much as Sunset Fortress and Spring Fortress did. So my apologies, I cannot give this a thumbs up. Fifth and final level of this part is Much Ado About Plantman by Omegada, 8 plays and a score of -2. This is the fourth and final level of their mini-series of Fortress stages. So let's see how it compares with the third one. This seems to be the lowest rated level so far. And I think I know why. Red force beams. This seems to be taking place on an airship or something. Thankfully I have access to Rush Jet, so I will utilize it in order to make these challenges a bit easier. I remember in the previous stage preceding Imperial Expanse how difficult this was, so I'd rather not repeat it. Well, I see, I need to ride these upwards in order to survive. Good to know. Would like a checkpoint nearby because that red force beam looks really scary. Those lyrics aren't helping matters. And we also have a bottom turd of a wide skull, well, bottom 2 turds. Oh, a free tank. I'll gladly take that. And apparently these can crush enemies. That's also nice to know. Time to ride this upwards and skip past everything. Or just use this instead. I get the feeling there's gonna be a whole bunch of these. Yep. There they are. This is gonna be a climbing segment, reverse quick man. How joyful. You need to be really fast, otherwise you'll just die. There's always seems to be one of these concrete or Cossack platforms, which takes me the way to go. I really want that M-tank there. Okay, guess I go to the left. I tried going on the right, but nothing happened, so I would like a better visual cue of where to go. After all, this is blank and empty space. Guess I climb downwards now. Hopefully there's a checkpoint nearby. This is the perfect place for putting a checkpoint. There it is, thank goodness. What's on the right though? It doesn't lead to anything because... it probably doesn't lead to anything of use. Something's down there. Well, it's too late to get it. Unless, of course, I restarted the checkpoint. I'm really curious what's down over there. Wait a minute. Was there an alternate route I missed? Because this takes me all the way back upwards through this area. Yeah, I get the feeling there is an alternate route I missed. This stage is really making me nervous and stressed out because of all the force beams everywhere. I guess that's why I got a low score, and it's the most challenging out of the few levels I played by Omegada. Well, there's no way to go other than down. And I was right, thank goodness. I guess this leads to the final boss of this mini-series. And of course we have the Mega Man 6 final boss team, and the whole commander of this operation is Plantman. At least it seems he has a weakness, which wasn't the case for the other Roadmasters. So that was the end of Much Ado About Plantman. I understand the title now. It's Much Ado because of how challenging the lead-up was with all the force beam ascents and descents. But the final boss fight was a lot easier than the stage preceding it. The first third of the stage was easy, the second third was really difficult with ascending all those force beams, and the final third was easier, so the difficulty progression is kind of like a mountain. And the final boss fight was easier than that. And honestly, I didn't exactly enjoy the stage. I understand the gimmick and all in all, but there were some issues with understanding which direction to go through. Maybe put an arrow in the background because it was a bit confusing at some points, like that one area, and then jumping down to the skull, which just led back upwards. I got the feeling I missed a alternate route or something. So honestly, I enjoyed when Toads fly the most out of your 4 fortress levels. So overall, out of the 5 levels I played in this part, my favorite one would definitely be One Night in Space, with an honorable mention going to When Toads Fly. So in the next part, I'll be covering several more viewer-submitted levels. Well then, thanks for watching and have a nice day. Toodles!